Thank you for joining me again, Artpost Friends. Today we're going to conclude our series on the sandpaper. This is week 4, and we're going to describe the background value using a wider lead pencil stick. So I can get some wider marks and bring up the value behind our friend and really set him in his environment. So get your pencils out. I hope you've been drawing along this whole time, and let's finish our sandpaper. So you can see here where I've begun to lay in the value of our background. I have to continually ask myself as I look at this image, where is the background darker than our bird and where is the background lighter than our bird? And in this case, all around the belly area here and in the legs as well, the background is darker than our subject. So I'm beginning to just lay in a nice light coating of pencil lead here with my wide pencil stick, and I will use a blender on this before I'm all done to smooth out any marks that I don't want. As we come around here to this elbow part on his leg where the bend happens, there is some shading that is darker than our background, and I may have to pump up the volume, deepen the values that I have already on my bird for this to visually make sense. So as we come around here on the right side of his belly, the background is still deeper. And then as we scoot up here in this area of shadow, then the background is lighter than the bird. So this will really be a back and forth exercise. I'm going to speed up the filming for you guys today so that you can see this develop. So I've invested my paper here with a lot of lead material, and I'm taking a large blender. It's a rolled up our paper tool here, and I'm going to smooth out some of these rough and grainy textures that I still have from the pencil lead. So the pencil lead that I'm using, it's a hard lead. If I was using charcoal, I probably would have a softer texture here showing up, but for our purposes, the pencil lead worked fine. As I come around here to the different areas of the bird, I'm just kind of taking note of where the contrast is blending together, where I might need to either pump up the value of the background or pump up the value on our sandpaper friend. And I want to bring that material right up to the line of that bird. So I want to lose the feeling of the outline on the areas of the bird that are light. I want to bring that background value right up to meet it so that it feels less like an outline and more like a 3D part of our image. And as I come around the back tail feathers here, I can see that I need to pump the contrast up. I need to bring back the contrast between the feathers and the background up in that area. So I'm just smoothing. The next thing you'll see me do is bring in a darker pencil and push the shadows and the deep values on our bird. Okay, so I have zoomed in on our subject here, and you can see that bringing up the values here in the tail feather and around the wing on the shadow side of the legs here around the head. You can see how pushing that value between the lights and the darks being right next to each other really brought him forward and out of his environment. And if I back up just a little, I started to add some indications here in the water that there are some ripples from his walking or movement. Maybe there's a few bugs in here. That's what some of these lines are, just kind of building your environment. And you can put in, a few areas of wiggles and lines. They can be kind of nondescript, but just an indication that there's movement and life and that the environment is not so static. It has movement to it. This is water, so let's draw in a bit of a reflection here for his leg. That will also help to place him in his environment. And a bit over here, it's funny the direction of his leg, because you're kind of seeing him from underneath. Pretend that you're seeing this guy from being in the water and looking straight up. So it's kind of a funny view. But I can see that's where his legs are going. Here's our big, wide water ripple. And I think that I am happy enough with Sandpiper to stop right there and call him shaded in. So what an interesting journey that we have been on with our friend the Sandpiper. I'll bring him in way close so you can get a good look at him all the way down. So from a simple egg shape and a few others and some shading and pencil marks, we really brought this fella into existence on our paper. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you were able to draw along and that it inspired you to start with simple shapes and spend several days, different drawing sessions, kind of just bringing the same image into reality. So until we see you again, thanks for drawing together with us.